this is one half cup of water. And I'm in the mood for mashed potatoes, so I am boiling some potatoes with their jackets on. They're almost done. And I'm going to leave the skin on. I'm also going to make a little bit of gravy. I put just like about a spoonful, I would say a teaspoon of oil. It looks like a lot, it's really not. If I had butter, I'd put butter. I've washed and used everything. The stem of the mushroom, this is a small baby portobello mushroom. I didn't have any green onions, so I'm using white onion. And I have cilantro, I don't have green onion, but I'm going to add this to the gravy to give it a little bit of color and a little bit of texture, so it's really good. And then the gravy is going to be a packaged gravy. So this packaged gravy calls for 1/2 water, full boiling. And then you add it to the packet and stir it up, and then you cook it. So I'm going to saute everything, and then I will, once I add the water and the seasoning, I'm going to just blend it all together. And I like to make homemade gravy, but I don't have any flour, all-purpose flour, so I'm going to use the packet. This one, I don't know if you could get it everywhere. It's called Pioneer Country Gravy. I'm not going to use a typical brown gravy. I'll just use this one. I won't have to add salt because it has a lot of salt in it already. So we'll see how that tastes. I'll show you the finished ingredient. The finished product, not finished ingredient. The sizzle is a wonderful sound. Alright, back down. So I can get potted onions. It smells really good. They also call this mock meat in the can, if you get it at the Asian market, something called chitterling. But you can use any kind of vegetarian mock meat, or you could just not put it in. You don't have to put it in. It's also good if you sit it in a bowl and you marinate it in this. This is called fermented bean curd with chili, but you don't add a lot of that because what that does is it has a very salty flavoring to it, so you don't need to add a whole lot. And instead of getting water from the sink or having to boil it again, what I am going to do is get a bowl, get a spoon from my water here, from the potatoes, and just add it so it can kind of cook. And I'm not wasting that water, you know? So I cook a lot. I know my stove is a little stained and stuff, but I don't really care. I mean, it's just us. This is what it is. This is real living for us. So we cook a lot, like every day. So I'm not even worried about that. But I just wanted to mention it in case somebody does see this and say, oh, why don't you clean your stove? Well, I do. I clean the basics. I'll make sure there's no food on it for the bugs, if there's bugs. So I'm going to turn my fire down, or down a little bit. I'm at 5 right now. I'm just going to go down to a 3 because I got to cut up that garlic. I'll be back. Alright, so this is me one-handed. So I'm going over here, adding the garlic. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Oh, it smells so good. So that's garlic, mushroom, tofu cheddar wings, and onion. Now here comes the part where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the water for my gravy. And this is fresh water. If I need to add more, I'll add it from the potatoes. Okay, let me add my mix. So when I dumped it in there, I don't have a sifter, so I kind of just poured it in there very slowly and layered it. And now I'm trying to get out, you know, most of the lumps. I don't have a sifter or anything like that, so I'm just making do with what I got. And there is a recipe, like mushroom stroganoff, that I make with sour cream. It's good. It's a recipe that I learned from when I was growing up, from my family, where you use the mushroom soup from Campbell's. And it's so good. One day I'll have to make that. Let me go ahead and take my potatoes out of the pot and I'll be back. My first job ever, I learned how to boil the potatoes from a Greek restaurant I used to work in. And I would clean the potatoes and they'd make me poke holes through it. And then I scored out all the bad areas of the potatoes, and we would boil it and peel the jackets. And I learned how to make some Greek food and learned how to do the potatoes. So I've done it like this ever since. Okay, let me mash them. So my gravy is starting to thicken up, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this down to a 1 and make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom, and go ahead and add a little bit of potato water to it. And normally I would cut these and then I would season them, but in this case I just went ahead and seasoned them because I need to mash it up. We don't use butter, so that's what it is. Okay, give me just a few moments. So I poured in a little bit of water. This is what it looks like, and it will give you more gravy. I don't know how to explain the consistency. It's not extremely runny, but it's not super thick, so it'll spread really nice on your potatoes. So we like smooth potatoes, but we also like lumpy potatoes. So I added more of the potato stock water to this to kind of help the consistency loosen. I also added a little bit of garlic powder. Usually I would put fresh garlic and onion or chives in it, but I don't have either of those. So it's at the consistency where I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and plate it for you. All I can say is this is so good. Now, if you have a blender, you can make it really smooth. One moment. Alright, so here's what it looks like. And give me just a moment, I need one more thing. Normally, my main course would be a corn fritter with this. And this is my lumpy skinned garlic mashed potatoes. And that's my blow-up recipe. So, I love it. It's so good. And then the leftovers, if we have leftovers, I'll make potato lashka patties or potato patties with egg. Make a patty, and then I'll